The
22nd.
Okay. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready. I got the recording going.
Okay. All right. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Dr. Julius Nairi CBPM UNIA-ACL mass meeting. Today is January 22nd. It's 2023. It's 5:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And before we get into our meeting, let's start with the pledge to the red, black, and green. I do want to make this announcement. I want to start like sometime this year when we do the pledge that we read it, we do it together. You know what I'm saying? I think we should be past just I'm reading and then, like we in elementary. So I would like to where I can start with the first line and then everybody join in. I mean, I don't know if you cool with that or not, Brother John, but I mean, not today, but just sometime in the future, I would like for it to be where we all do it together. And it's not like,
Sister Tania, I
Um,
agree with you 1,000%. I think we should start that tonight. Per my understanding,
okay, great.
pledges, as you said, the pledge is not supposed to be a call and response. It's supposed to be something that we all do together. So we'll start that tonight.
Okay, well, I can start off by, so everybody can know when to join in. I started and then everybody just join. Okay. All right. I commit my body, mind, and spirit to the protection, defense, and security of the red, black, and green. I dedicate my life to the redemption of Mother Africa and the liberation of her scattered Black children. I accept for myself and my descendants the teachings of universal African nationalism and promise that our children will be instilled with the purpose and knowledge of themselves
as
African people, in order that the cause of our struggle will neither falter nor fail until all Black people are free and united
through one
God, one aim, and one destiny. All right, race first. Okay, we got to work on it, but we're going to get there. But I much rather, I mean, that's been on my heart, so. Okay, let me go back to where I was. Okay, our guidelines for the call today. We're not doing I don't think we're doing a full topic. Well, it's a topic, but is it open topic? Or are you doing the goals?
Open topic, that'll be my topic is goals and plans for the year, schedule for the year.
Okay, so we're doing goals and plans, and then we'll do like the question and answering, and then we'll move to member share. Be considerate when you have the floor, try not to go over your time. We ask that everyone keep their comments and responses to 3 to 4 minutes. You can request to do a presentation between 15 minutes to an hour long. To ensure we can hear our speakers, keep your phone on mute when you're not speaking. Have a pen and paper available, or you can use your phone to take notes, say member contact information, or you can make a list of things you would like to comment or ask questions about. When it's your turn to speak, there will be people on this call with different ideas, religions, and opinions than your own. It's okay to disagree, but let's not become nasty and disrespectful towards one another. Ladies, do not give out your personal number during the call. Do not use the N-word during the call, and be mindful of overusing curse words. There are children that tune in. So I'm gonna pass it to our President John. President John. So you can do roll call, and I'm gonna go on mute.
Thank you, First Lady Vice President, Sister Tania. So we on the call tonight, we have on the conference call Brother Abdullah. And then on the Zoom, we have myself, Brother John, member 306 in Atlanta, member 172, Sister, or 177, sorry, Sister Tania in Dallas, Texas. We have Brother Dr. Shams out of New York, Attorney Imhotep here in Atlanta, and then Brother Art in Annandale, Virginia. So it makes 6 total on the call right now. Sister Tania.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, well, I don't really have anything to say. So I'm gonna pass it on to you. And, to start with the topic for today.
You say you're passing it back to me?
Yep.
All right. Well, tonight's kind of we didn't have a lot planned right now. So tonight, kind of just had an open topic. Some of the things that we usually try to take care of by this time is having some plans and goals for the year. In the past, it has been a brainstorming session where people have been asking other people to do things. And this time, I'm asking us what type of changes we expect to implement within the division so that we can have a different vision or a different outcome at the end of this year, at the end of 2023. But just open to plans and ideas as to what we should be focused on and what we should be trying to execute this year. So anybody have any suggestions?
Okay, I know one of my goals is, I've been talking about it for a while. I talked to Brother Abdullah today. And I want to get more people to host the calls. Because I know y'all know I've been talking about this for a while. And I just got I'm gonna be working come February. I found me a place to rent a booth, and so we're really gonna need somebody to help President John on this call here and with CBPM. So I was hoping that we could get multiple volunteers to where people aren't having to do the meetings every week, and that people can rotate and have breaks. So I know that's one of the things that I know more volunteers helping. And that's it. That's all I can think of right now. And as far as topics, I told you I want to do more world news and things that's going on. I know a lot of times people have an issue with those things, but I think it's good for us to talk things out. And I don't think we can talk about something too many times because you may have a different point of learning. You might learn something new the next time you hear it. We all are not on this call all the time. And so, I don't see no issues with us repeating things, and I want to do and more presentations this year. So I would like to have some workshop presentations, possibly some self-help presentations. I know Marcus Garvey talked a lot about not going into debt and stuff like that. So I think like a lot of the points that he makes, we can build some workshops over it to kind of help ourselves from the philosophies and opinions, because he spoke about a lot of points and stuff, and they were good points, but we're not really taught financial literacy and stuff. And I know we make a lot of mistakes coming up. So I'm a mute.
That's a good idea. But I have a question with that. Can anybody give a presentation, say like on a course or something?
Well, I'm gonna say yeah, like but I don't know what President John would say. I mean, if you know about the topic, then yeah. I don't feel like, we all have some type of expertise in something. We all done been through something, done something. And I think that's the point of us coming together, is to share what we learn coming along. All right.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I was just wondering if outsiders if they're not a member of the UNIA, could they still teach us something? Because I thought
self-care isn't skin deep. Good thing almonds
Doing
have
this
50.
again, huh?
Almonds have 50% of the recommended
Sorry.
vitamin E. The promote skin health. Eat almonds.
I was just thinking that, if somebody that's not in the UNIA can give us a heads up, is that okay?
Well, I know in the past we have let people that wasn't in the UNIA give presentations, but it'll depend on what President John say about it. I guess it would depend on what it's about.
Well, all right, let's talk about it. What's the concern for the art with someone not from the UNIA? Again?
No, I was just wondering, because I might know a couple people who might be interested in giving a presentation, but I was under the impression that they would have to be familiar with the UNIA's constitution and things.
No, no, they don't have to be familiar with everything. That's the first thing. Second thing is though, all members of our race are part of the UNIA. So if they're a member of our race, by default, they are a part of the UNIA. They may not be an active member, but they are still a part of the UNIA.
Okay, great.
But yeah, I mean, we're open to information. Sometimes, and that's what the executive body is supposed to be for, is to make sure that the Garvey perspective is, or as Garvey says in the Course of African Philosophy, there's an Afrocentric perspective that's dominant in any type of education that's being given, making sure that what we are giving and getting is primarily for the benefit for our race, and if that's the case, then we're open to it.
Okay, thanks. I yield.
Okay, I'm gonna jump back on the call again, President John. I need to jump off real quick. Somebody keep calling me, so let me respond, and then I'm gonna come right back on.
Okay, no problem. It's a quiet call tonight.
Race first.
That's first.
Yeah, I know we have like at least 2 hours, right? So with that time that we have, I'm just trying to see if I could text some of the people I know, like Brother Nat, Brother Enoch, Brother Everett, Baba James, just trying to see if I could reach out to them, get on the call. Race first.
Race first. Well, you know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how, I don't know how many changes we can make to attempt to accommodate our people, as far as meetings and virtual conference call, in person, what time of day, what day of the week, what week of the month. Yeah, I don't know what else we could do, out of thinking about what we've done in the past 3 years, but I'm open to options, but I just, I don't know.
Race first.
Place first.
Yeah, I don't think it's a matter of format. I think it's a matter of making things more interesting or more accommodating by reaching out to people and asking them what they can offer us and inviting them in to offer something even if they don't have nothing to offer. They might learn about something that they have expertise in or some knowledge of something, and maybe they can put something together with what they have and be part of our mission as far as gathering the skills, intelligence, and talents of our people as a collective. These are race first. We need to reach out to people. We need to reach out. That's the one thing I don't think we've really been doing too much. Peace and race first.
Race first.
Race first.
Well, one thing, and we will continue to reach out, and that is a valid point. But in contrast to that, on the other side, from an individual that has been a part of the reaching out process, some of our people can be hard to stay in touch with. Phone numbers change, addresses change, emails change, like it ain't nothing. So they're I don't know what to say about that, because me personally, I expect a level of consistency. But that's just an expectation. That may be a false expectation or unrealistic expectation.
Yeah, I hate that's the truth.
But me personally, I've had the same information as far as cell phone number, my primary cell phone. I've had that for 20 years. House number, that has changed, but some things, I don't know. It's just some things aren't consistent with our people. A lot of things aren't consistent, and it's hard to keep up with everyone. So that's why we try to. This is what we have done as far as this platform, inherited from President Ross Marvin, having a consistent meeting place, meeting ground, so for several years, we've had the same conference call number, several years, same Zoom information. We meet at the same time, second Sunday, fourth Sunday of every month, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. So standing meetings is supposed to be one of those things that maintains that level of consistency, even though things are changing. But we can't, unless we're expecting that consistent body to keep up with everyone else, I'm expecting everyone else to keep up with the consistent body. So when their information changes, you know, we would like for individuals to reach out to us, you know, and say, hey, you know, this is my new phone number, just like we do with, you know, bill collectors and things like that, or credit card or whatever. You know, when we change our information, we make sure to reach out to those institutions and make sure our information is updated. But when it comes to our institutions, our organizations, I have not seen that personally. So those are my comments. I'll yield at that point.
Oh, I came in at the end, but that was one of the things I brought up at the CVPM meeting, where I'm asking, you know, people to let us know, because when you sending out that message and somebody else has your phone number,
Yep.
you know, we bringing people onto the call that shouldn't be here. So, you know what I'm saying? If you want to protect the integrity of the call, that's something that you have to remember to do.
But
You know, your email in so we can keep up with you.
Yes, it's a two-sided thing. I understand and we accept our responsibility that we have to do better about keeping our records updated. But at the same time, membership needs to accept that responsibility as well. So, but you valid point, Dr. Shams. Reaching out, staying in communication with our people, understanding how individual skills and talents can be utilized for the movement and how we can help each other is very important. So I don't want that to be overlooked.
Grace first.
Grace first, Dr. Shams.
It might be ironic, but I think a lot of people that left, they might still be interested in some group formation of some sort. And the other place I'm thinking about, you might find something to bring back, is like social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and so forth. You know?
Yes, sir. I hear you.
So maybe we do good to set up a group there or something, you know, to invite people to our core of our ethnicity. Don't worry about it, because the Caucasians, they do it all the time and cut our throats at it while they doing it.
Yes. Well, absolutely. But that's one of the first things that I asked for in this call is volunteers to help us meet these goals. We do have a promotions coordinator, Brother James Wilson. He's the author of 3 books for the youth. He's an administrator on our Facebook, and he's also created our Instagram, and he helps with our YouTube. But he's not here at this meeting. So we would need individuals that can help promote, you know, what's going on these social platforms. But you're absolutely right. But, you know, we can't, at this point, we cannot continue to offer suggestions for other people to implement. We've passed that point. Like I said, we will step up, take responsibility for what's within our wheelhouse, and it's my responsibility to reach out and hold officers accountable for their responsibility. So we own that, but everybody's got to do their part, you know. And I think that's one of the differences between a young Garvey and an old Garvey. Young Garvey kind of tried to do it all on his own, and everybody, you know, put everything behind him. But an older Garvey was trying to build other leaders and replicate his ability in other individuals. So those are my thoughts. Questions, comments, anybody? But yeah, topic, we're talking about schedule and goals for 2023, things that we like to accomplish and how we plan to accomplish, and how we as individuals can help accomplish those goals.
Ladies first. What about like brochures and flyers and things like that there? You know? I don't know if we have any shirts or what have you, but, you know, our logo or whatever, our representation of our brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey on this shirt, that could be very attractive to some people, along with flyers and brochures. But I don't know how far advanced we are in the marketing and advertisement aspect of what we're doing.
Yes, sir. We printed up 1,000 brochures last year. We hadn't printed up any since that first 1,000. We was talking about making some updates to the brochure to add a QR code, but we never got around to making the update, so it's kind of held off us getting more brochures. But yes, we have to do that. It wasn't too. I think it was about $100 for 1,000 brochures, so it wasn't too expensive. But it's something that we have to continue. It's not something that we can do once every 2 or 3 years. That has to be an ongoing throughout the year commitment. But yes, you are correct, Dr. Shams.
How about doing something like a Black History Night once a month? Just showing a movie or a speech that one of the elders have given, or something to bolster Black history.
It seems like something I would like to attend, but I wouldn't want to plan. But it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea.
Well, I think it's a lot of videos and stuff on YouTube and other sites. I'll try to put something together to see if we can at least start it.
We tried to do a fundraiser 2021. I think it was February, or maybe it was 2022. I don't know. But we ended up having to cancel it because there was an issue with us printing flyers promoting a location that was showing a movie that was copyrighted.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. So we were trying to show Judas and the Black Messiah.
And
we were promoting that movie as well as the location, but the location owner let us know that that was an issue as far as copyright concerns.
How about doing it online? I mean, still bring some people in that way. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of
Ladies first. I noticed my website is based upon the internet itself in reference to helping out people in several different ways. Those ways I'm not going to mention right now, but I think that, on advertisements such as YouTube, what have you, they have what they call a share link. Facebook has it too, a share link, where I guess that's so that you can share with any information you want with anybody else online. That's why they have that share. Otherwise, there's no need to have a share button on anything as far as the internet.
Yeah, but I'm not sure I trust Facebook and all of them, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Ladies first. the Moors have their program. Moorish Americans, they have their program on Facebook now. I think they're trying to set up and head towards putting more of their information on the internet. And I've been seeing, the way I've been seeing it, I've been seeing crowds as well as individuals. I've been seeing activities that they do and everything, you know. They have a presence on Facebook. And I think they have a presence in YouTube as well. You know, but we need to expand, uplift, and boast of what we have as far as our social reaching out, social connections. Race first.
Race first. All right. Let me ask a couple questions just to get because we're saying a lot. How does everyone on the call get their media? Do the people on the call use Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or are we more traditional Atlanta Journal-Constitution, whatever your local newspaper is? How do we get our media? I think that's a question we should be asking.
Okay. Aziza had a comment here.
Sister Aziza.
Yes, greetings, family. Well, very short. February is coming up, and we know that that's Black History Month, shortest month of the year. And I was wondering if that might be an opportunity to present ourselves. I hate the thought of social media. Not everybody is into Facebook, but we can come up with something that will generate some members during the Black History. Do we have anything planned for Black History Month?
No, we don't. Just let's touch on Black History Month really quick, and I want to get back to media. But there was some discussions that came up this week with our former Lady President, Sister Nisa. She was talking about trying to put on some type of Black History event at Omanala Griot. However, she was looking at February, I think 19th at the time, which was booked, and then she was coming back with February 26th, which had not been confirmed. My response was, that's not enough time for us, one, and two, I would rather us focus on High Executive Council right now.
Okay.
The last event we planned and had was Kwanzaa, Nia Night, and that we were $300 negative coming out of Kwanzaa. So I'm not in a rush to have any events right now, and I want to make sure that we do everything that we can to have a good showing for High Executive Council. So that's our focus as a division.
Thank you. Race first.
Race first. But if other groups, I'm sure some other groups will be having events. That's always an opportunity for us to collaborate as well as promote and recruit. And to remind individuals what the red, black, and green, the UNIA flag, what it stands for, what it means, who Marcus Garvey is, and how his legacy lives on today. So for us, for the month of February and for the months leading up to High Executive Council, I would like for us to just be in tune with what the other groups are doing. And I don't want to have to list off, several groups. I don't want to list any because I'm going to miss some. But any groups that are doing race first programs, we should know about it. We should be involved. We should be supporting. And I know usually what we've done is the Youth Health Science Fair with the local independent African Center schools. we our relationship has not been as strong in the past couple of years, but that doesn't mean that we're not respected. It's just a matter of knowing when and where the events will be. But my thoughts are, again, we want to partner with all African-centered organizations and anything that they've got going on. Questions, comments on February? Okay. All right. So we'll get back to, we'll see each other in February. We have executive meeting first Saturday of February. So if there's anything that we hear about or we know about, we can discuss that as an executive body. Back to media, though. I want to know how we consume our media. So I want to, and I'll leave it open. I'll go ahead. I'll leave it there. How do we consume our media? What's the media outlets that we use? Are we
I
consuming?
use Black Radio. I don't get on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube much anymore.
You said Black radio?
Yeah.
What kind of Black radio? Like local, national?
Local. Here in DC, I listen to PFW. I do some Roland Martin, of course. I listen to this guy out of Detroit. He has this thing called the Black History Network. Michael Imhotep.
That name's familiar.
And stuff like that,
How did you say you listen to the brother in Detroit?
He has he's on he has his own little, I guess, what do you call him, blog, or he's on a stream, and it's called the Black History Network.
Is it on the internet? I mean, what streaming service do you know? That's what
I guess he comes with Roland Martin's network. He's on Roland Martin every Friday, and I was listening to him before he got on Roland Martin. But he has his own, I guess it's called a blog, where he got his own little TV thing, I guess, and it's called the Black History Network.
Okay.
I'll send you the credentials.
Okay.
But that's what I do. I got kind of out of the Facebook and that kind of social media stuff because there's so many you don't know what's true on there. You can't,
Well, before we go into what we don't want, I just want to give everybody a chance to share how we do get our media.
Okay, I'll yield.
Thank you, Brother Art. Anyone else want to share how we get our media? I guess. Okay.
I see it come across Facebook or Instagram or one of the social medias, and then I go look it up myself.
You look it up yourself. What do you mean, like a Google search or?
Yeah, I see the title, and then I just go and because a lot of times they just have a meme or they have something, and I like to go and read my own little articles. I just look and read a couple of things, or I might look at YouTube videos, the Black news and stuff. Most time I actually took the news off my phone specifically, so I don't really see it. I did it on purpose. Yeah.
Well, I'll share. I use quite a bit. Primarily, let me see. In the past, I've used apps such as Flipboard. I'm writing these down. Flipboard, Africa News, Flipboard, Africa News. What was that one that Brother Curtis used to always promote? France 24 or something like that. I would check them out. USA Today, I would look at them, even though I know that they have some issues. Okay, and then beyond that, honestly, like we're being completely honest. World Star Hip Hop, I do get some stuff from there. Not, I don't come on here saying like what I learned from World Star. YouTube, from YouTube, Dr. Ma'at. Who else on YouTube? Sonetter. I gotta give Sonetter credit. I'll throw Dr. Umar out there. I listen to his stuff. Tariq Nasheed, I listen to some of his stuff as well. Let me get Taharka Bey. I listen to his stuff as well. So that's YouTube. I get a little bit off Facebook. Facebook is more like family. I try not to get lost in the weeds in Facebook. I'm not big on Instagram, but we do have a Instagram. So, and then as Sister Tania said, Google searches and different articles on Google. Anybody else want to share what type of media we use in the Black community?
Race first. I have seen where some people, they use like poster pinups and stuff like that, where they put posters on sides of buildings and stuff like that, and they go along. That goes along with flyers. A brochure is something you have to really sit down and think about. But a flyer could just be a few words, inviting somebody somewhere, and hey, they be there at the time and place according to the flyer. Flyers are very effective. Posters, well, that's how Black entertainers got started. They would post up where they're going to be, what events that they were putting together, events and different things using posters. And they would go to the locale of various different people who they felt, wanted their message, and I guess that's been effective because they have branched out now. They all over the radio. If you listen to like the FM dial, like WBLS, 107.5, Power 105, 98.7 Kiss at 97.1, whatever, on the FM dials, but it's a little difficult to get on there because I think they asking for real money to get that presence. And I would mention cable, but they're the same way, too costly. But what we can do with shirts, pinups, posters, flyers, maybe we could put together a very informative brochure. We have to try various ways. We have to try all avenues and all ways to go after our people the way that we intended to set up our organization. Our organization, is set up as a collective, meaning that we go out and we want to reach everybody. Well, we have to use all means and any means necessary to do so. Peace and race first.
Race first. Thank you, Dr. Shams. I got posters and flyers. Anyone else want to add how we on this call consume or get our media, or how we should get our media? recommendations. Where should the Black community go for media?
I think no limits on where we should go. We should check everything and
Is there
and look.
anything we should stay away from?
I say your best judgment. And that's one thing I noticed is even with Black media, some of them don't tell the truth.
Yes.
Because it's Black don't mean it's right. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care where I get the information from. I'm gonna keep looking until I'm satisfied with my answers, with whatever I find. And even if not, I'm not satisfied. I'm like, I might be in the middle until I see something different. But I try to jump on things. I think that's one thing we gotta stay away from. It's like jumping on something before we hear our sides of the story or our sides or something, because I see a lot of emotional rants and stuff. You know, when we get news, it don't be okay. We'll go one thing for an example. Okay, I seen this pop up. It might have been World Star. It was like a screenshot. It says the UV lamps that we use to do nails with, that they cause cancer. That a new study has found that they cause cancer. Okay, so everybody freaking out. You know what I'm saying? Nobody goes and read. I'm the person. I see that. I said, "Oh, it's a study. Let me go read the study." So that's how I think that people should think. When you see something on any media, you need to go and get to the bottom of it. Well, how did this happen? What happened there? What, you know what I'm saying? Where did it begin? And get the full story. I go look, and it said that they put, whoever it was, put some cells in a petri dish and stuck it underneath the lamp for 20 minutes. Nowhere in the nail industry is anybody sticking their hand underneath a lamp for 20 minutes. And they said they did it for 20 minutes and they stopped and did it another 20 minutes. So that's 40 minutes. And nobody does that. So then you got everybody emotional, flipping out, tripping out over misinformation. I mean, it's the correct information. It can be correct and still wrong. That's correct. I mean, the cells did die, but you know, you gotta go just keep looking. And I don't think it matters where. You just keep looking for the correct answer. Keep looking, because a lot of the information out there is to mislead you, and even from Black people.
Yes. Well, one question though. Well, yeah. Leading into what you're saying and what we were going to expound on. What about the original source? You know, is there any more credibility nowadays in the original source? So whether TMZ says something or I don't know who's BBC, I think, is a very reputable world news brand. You know, BBC says something. Is there any, or, just somebody on Facebook says something. Is there any difference in legitimacy and credibility in what's being said and level of trust, in what's being said, or does everything need to be scrutinized?
Race first.
Right.
Yeah, I have noticed something pertaining to one of the subject areas of my website, and that's the sovereignty ID that I have laws. People get on here with us, and they say that we are American citizens according to 13, 14, 15 Amendment. Moors disagree with that. A lot of Moors disagree with that totally. They go for constitutional amendments that open the door for you to have your own government, like 1, 2, 9, 10, 11. Those constitutional amendments that they give you the leeway to be independent and sovereign and indigenous as well. That's often overlooked, though. Because sometimes we say things, but we don't be having all the facts, So going to a source with whatever we're presenting, is very good also. You know, when I post something from another site onto my website, I use the reference name. Who put it together? What's the actual exact title of the song or whatever that was played? And then I put the link under it. I'll just put links up without names. I try to use references as best I can. You know, and I was taught in graduate school that is the best way to go. The piece of race first.
Race first. Brother Kwame, I did see that you posted Pan-African News blog site and another site, but I did want to go back to that question. Is there any difference in legitimacy between any of these sites, or does everything, should we scrutinize everything?
Race first.
Race first.
Yeah, back to graduate school. Anytime we put together an article, we was asked to do papers all throughout the years that I went to graduate school. We was asked to do various papers, but the one thing that they emphasized was the references. You have got to have references, and they said with any research, the thing about research is that it should be replicable, or somebody can do it over again the same way you did it, or maybe even better. But it has to be based, and you have to use the reference source, you know, with whatever material is coming from anybody else other than yourself. And if it's coming from yourself, you use at least your name so that you could get the credit and reference where other people want to use it, or other people talk about it in general. Now, I noticed something on WBLS. They have an open forum at times where you could just go in there and state, you know, your business, you know, what you're interested in, what you're doing, and things like that there. That exists on WBLS. That's the station that Reverend Sharpton goes on every Sunday from 9 to 10, you know. But hey, we could ask WBLS if they could lend us some time. You know, the brothers and sisters there, they seem very receptive and open to what Black people want to do. That is a Black radio network. Peace and race first.
Race first. Thank you, Dr. Shams. So I think based on what Dr. Shams was saying, the sources. So if articles aren't listing the sources, then we should definitely question them. And even if they are listing the sources, we should verify the sources. So whether it's my, personal Facebook, or your personal Facebook, or the most well-known media institutions in the world, whoever has the most accurate sources, those are the ones that would have the most accurate information. So any questions, comments? I did have another question to follow up on this discussion though, but any questions, comments thus far?
Yeah, I had wanted to say that I think, in this age where everything is based around numbers. Well, I mean, it's been based around numbers anyway, but now it's a wider audience you can reach, like with the stroke of a finger, you know what I'm saying? And it's about what can get the people the most emotional to cause a reaction to whatever you put out there that's going to raise your numbers so you can get money.
Yes.
That's how they get money.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Is based off of your emotion. So me, I can't just like believe anything I see. I don't believe nothing no more. I see scrolling on social media. So if I see it and I'm like, okay, well, let me go look it up first. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's a Black history, I don't even take Black history tips no more, because it's white people out there that's just putting random stuff on memes and saying, Black people created this just so we can share it and they can laugh at us.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just to where you just can't trust nothing. So I don't know how to say, what's the best media or what's not. I just use your common sense, you know what I'm saying? And like, just don't jump to something just because it looks, you're caught in your feelings at the moment. Just A lot of times you got to give stuff time to play out. I like to see stuff play out. And then, you know, that's when the truth come out. Is what's true and false. Okay.
Yes. Anybody else, any other comments?
Hello?
Yeah, this brother Abdullah.
No, this brother Sean that
Oh, brother
President
Sean.
John.
Greetings, brother Sean. How you doing?
Peace to the family. I just came in. I was doing something else. But what is the topic?
Well, it's a broad topic. The original topic was goals and plans, schedule for this year, things that we wanted to accomplish and how we could help implement them. In the process of that discussion, we started to talk about promoting through media. And now we are kind of deep into the media aspect. And I've asked the question of how do we as Black people receive our media? Is there a preferred method or platform that we should receive media from, or are there platforms that we should stay away from?
Can I comment on that?
Yes, of course.
Peace to the family. Well, first of all, we got to you have to look at individuals from the grandparents. We were told there was no social media back then. So what they told us is what we have, because what they spoke then still resonates right now. Everything that has changed is the faith. The spirit is still the same. Energy is still the same. But it's nothing changed. The only thing changed is the faces. So therefore, just like in the King James Bible, where God told Moses to take off his sandals, that he is standing on holy ground, we as a people need to spiritually get in tune with the universe. Just like the big news is about down in Florida, Ron DeSantis said about that he did not want African history taught in schools in Florida. It's not the enemy's job to teach us about ourselves. So we rely on social media, other people to teach us. I mean, what is wrong with, I'm thinking individually to all of us that's listening. What is wrong with you getting up, going to a library, or getting on some type of ways that we can learn something? Because even though, remember a couple of Sundays ago, President John, you and I we were talking about something, and I mentioned the Underground Railroad, and you said that about you was always told that the Underground Railroad people was going north, and when I mentioned about they were still going south, trying to get into Mexico, and I'm just using that as an example, that we don't know what we think we know. So we need to take it upon ourselves as individuals, go back and start reading and to really find out information that is basically at our fingertips. You know, it could be useful if we book, go check out that. But we're relying on somebody else to do the footwork, and we just want to sit back and push the button. To guarantee that this is true, we're taking a hell of a chance on somebody else's work that we know that they put it out there to discredit us, to mislead us 100%. It's like Sister, I think Tamir was just saying that she didn't know what to believe, you know. But if you know something, when somebody says something, it will resonate in your spirit that this is true. Because we as a people was created in spirit and in truth. So when you hear the truth, your spirit gonna acknowledge it.
Yes, sir.
Race first.
Race first. Okay. We'll touch on the Ron DeSantis thing. I did have that as something to discuss later. But as far as media, a couple things that I pulled from what you said was parents, grandparents, as well as the library and the books, verifying the material for ourselves and paying attention to what we've been told. Anybody else want to share how we receive media, we consume media? Oh, I forgot to switch it back. Okay, we got quite a few. I'll go through them again. Local radio, Roland Martin, Facebook, Instagram, Google articles, YouTube Black News, Flipboard, Africa News, France 24, USA Today, World Star Hip Hop, YouTube, certain individuals on YouTube, Facebook again, Instagram again, posters on buildings, flyers, and the teachings from our parents, grandparents, libraries, and reading books. Next question that I wanted to ask was, now that we know how we can receive media, how does the youth, does anybody knows how our youth receives media?
Race first.
Race first, Dr. Shams.
Yeah, a lot of our youth are interested in like entertainment and sports, you know, different things like that. You know, they try to see who's ahead in this, that, or the other, and they're very in tune to even television. You know, television, particularly entertainment type television. When BET was back on, BET was the only thing you would ever hear about. BET all over the place. But BET got taken over by Jewish people, so you don't hear it too much no more. It's like BET don't, went away and don't exist. That's the same thing they're trying to do with our history too. Discredit us and erase us as not even being no kind of people. Peace and race first.
Race first. I got entertainment, sports, television. Anybody else want to comment on how we believe our youth receive their media, since we don't have any youth on the call to speak for the youth?
Yes, this is Brother Sean again.
Brother Sean, go ahead.
It's like it goes back to how I say it again. At one time we were the youth. One time.
Yeah.
Now we are so put myself in any position, but then basically it goes back to well, what do you think did it from? It was older than say, keep them out so as a head open. You will never learn.
Yes.
So you, it's the same thing. No matter how you try to change this question up, it's still you're gonna get the same answer. They're gonna get it just like we got. The only thing now is that social media which is basically the electronics is in the thing. But back then, it was newspapers. It was the gossip magazine. Inquiring minds want to know. So that was a form of media back then in the 70s coming into the early 80s. Lord, papers, and most of us old enough to remember. And they still got them in the supermarket every now and then, but back then it was definitely in the supermarket because when you went to pay for your groceries, there were the tabloids right there. So you didn't miss it. So it's the same platform according to the culture of the people of the time. It can change what's the faces. You know, I don't know what your next question gonna be, but if it's a form of information, it's I'm gonna give you the same answer. With our grandparents, parents, we got it. We got it from the streets. He said, she said. It ain't nothing changed but the faces. Race first.
Race first. Brother Sean, just one question. So you believe that our youth are still getting information from parents and grandparents today?
Well, no, can't say all. Can't give you a number. But I can say this right here. In any culture, I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. You tell me what has changed. Ain't nothing changed. Meaning what I'm trying to get at, or I guess maybe I'm not using the right words to convey my message, but it's just like at the time when my stepson was here with me, he said that they didn't have no microwave back then. I said, what is the function of a microwave? It's to cook food. So if you got a wild rabbit and stuck a stick to him and made a rotisserie out of it, it doesn't matter how you cook it. There was a goal that you was trying to get to. Prepare the food so it's edible. So the information that's given, it is given in the street. It is given through word of mouth. Grandparents, or even your enemies, or just gossip. The information or the flow of information is still the same.
Okay.
Now the question is this going to be true or it's going to be false? That's the question. The flow of information is still going to be the same. To narrow it down, let me give you like this. Let me throw this out there. Transportation. Whether you walk, ride a horse, call a cab, get an airplane, get on the boat, it's still transportation. Your goal is to get from point A to point B. That is your goal. Now, how you get there is something totally different, but it just goes according to the culture and the time. But it's still transportation. That's all I'm trying to say. The youth get it, but they got it in the street. Get it on social media. And like I said, I don't know if people want to remember, but people like me, Dr. Sam's, Brother Ross Marvin, we remember the tabloid supermarket. The flow of information. Like right now, a lot of people that are the only call that are like your age a little bit younger, they don't even remember what people was. That's when they see something like New Jack City. So you got to look at, you got to give the word free with many branches, or a tree with roots going in every different direction. The goal is to suck up much nutrition where you can get it from. It's the flow of information where you get it from. It still be the same thing as it was back then. Like in the Bible it says, so it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man.
So you said nothing's changed. That's basically what I've heard.
But when we give it, I mean, when I came along, just like I'm going through something right now with, I'm going through something for business, but I will say this much right here. I've never heard this word narcissist before. For information background around we say they was mentally insane. It was a lunatic. Now they coming up with all kinds of words for the same thing. So this is what's happening with us. I mean, you think about it, 50 years ago, the word Xerox didn't even exist.
Mm-hmm.
They making up words as we go along. It was copied.
Mm-hmm.
You copying that. You copying this. But now they don't say copy no more. You Xerox.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, you like I said, I don't want to be taking up too much of the airtime, but I mean, it's the same thing. You just got to have an open mind about it and let your mind, let your mind flow. Everybody has to rise into a higher level thinking of a God. Well, that's the whole concept about this. We have to rise as a people to the consciousness of thinking of a God. When Allah said that he was going to create man, he just said, you're going to create one that's going to shed blood and cause mischief on the earth. And Allah replied, say, I know what you know not. So in the Bible, Jesus said that we're all God. King David said the same thing. We are all God. So we're created in the image of God. Why we can't think like a God? Sister Tamia said everything deal with numbers. And she was dead on point with that. Everything we do deal with numbers. When we sleep, 8 hours. When we work, 8 hours. Everything is dealt with numbers in life. Everything. Ain't nothing you do that don't deal with a number. In some form of act. Nothing. You're supposed to drink 8 glasses of water a day.
I want to continue the discussion, Brother Sean.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So race first. Before we continue, because we record these calls for educational purposes. And again, I'm trying to, at this point, it should be obvious. I'm trying to point out the differences in how we receive our media as quote unquote adults and how youth receive their media. And is there a disconnect?
Revolutionary greetings and hotel. Race first. This is Kwame Benter, everybody.
Greetings, Brother Kwame.
I believe that the youth get a lot of their information from the educational system. I think that's where a lot of programming is done right there. That's where the anti-African propaganda is pumped into us at an early age. Once we enter those schools, the public school system, and their peers, peers that they interact with throughout the school day, because they spend a lot of their time in the school system, So I think, that's probably where they get a lot from. Then, they have the apps, TikTok and things of that nature is also a big influence on where they're gathering their information from, So that's all I wanted to share. And just, to reiterate on what Malcolm said, only a fool will allow the enemy to educate our children. So that's one of our biggest obstacles that we have as a people. We continue to send our children to be miseducated in the public school system, controlled by the colonizers.
Yes, sir. Let's see.
Yes, Brother John, brief comment here. I know, and I do not know generally what the youth are looking at and where they get their media from. I do know, recently here, it was in the Atlanta area, they're communicating on social media. Aziza mentioned Facebook, where they were got into a confrontation. People said something and got in confrontation. The next day at school, somebody gets shot. Yeah, so I would think and add social media here and I don't and Facebook. Race first.
Race first. Thank you. Attorney Imhotep, social media, Facebook.
Race first. You know anything about newsletters, Brother John? How newsletters work?
Newsletters? What do you mean? Where you going?
Newsletters generally give basic information about something that you're doing, and it's like positive news for the media. And I learned that back in the days when I was growing up, they was accepting things like that for free. I don't know if they charge now to put it on the air, but we could check into that and see if it's still free. If it's free, we could write up a newsletter and, submit it to the media. That's another way they can find out about us. But we need to be detailed as far as who we are, what we do, and why we're doing it. Peace and race first.
Race first. Are you talking about for adults or for youth?
I'm talking about for both. There used to be a magazine for young people too. Some young people, they like wrestling books. I don't know what other kind of books they like. Some that I can't mention, but they had newspapers.
So we believe children or youth are reading magazines still.
Yeah, when I was growing up, they had a magazine directed directly to teenagers.
Dr. Shams, I'm talking about today's youth.
Okay, they do podcasts, but I don't know what a podcast is. But I know if you have a podcast, that's a good way to reach out. But you got to maintain that, and somebody got to be there every day. That's for questions and answers and different things like that. You can get your information across that way. Newsletters is just good news for the media, and with all the bad news that come in, the reason for the newsletter is so that they could put something good on the air or out there in the public, that'll be beneficial. Something that somebody's doing that's positive as compared to all the negativity that we find in the news almost all of the time, if not always. Peace and race first.
Race first. Thank you, Dr. Shams. Okay. So
race first, Kwame again.
Brother Kwame, go ahead.
The other day, my wife shared with me that Facebook is really mostly older people on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the youth these days are on TikTok.
Okay.
Right? And Snapchat. Those are the two social media platforms that most of the youth are using these days.
Yes, sir.
And just to kind of go back a little bit, I know y'all had asked about where we as adults get our information from.
Yes.
Have anybody here heard of a social media platform called Blacksbees?
Blackspace?
Blacksbees. Blacksbees, it's spelled BLAQSBI. BLAQSBI. It's a social media platform that a brother, Dimitri St. Pierre, created. He lives in North Carolina, and it's got almost 1 million users. Most of the people on there are from the continent of Africa, but the the company, the business, the person that put this social media site together is right here in the States. So I just wanted to bring that up. It's a social media platform called Black Speeds that you can join and create social media huddles, like we have groups on Facebook and stuff like that. And also you can do what we're doing right now, do like a Zoom conference call on that platform and things of that nature. Race first.
Thank you, brother. Race first. All right. Any other closing comments, suggestions before I move to my point of these questions?
Race first. You forgot to put down newsletters for positive news. Piece of race first.
Okay. All right. So the reason, since we got everything from everybody, like I said, this is a recorded meeting. We will put this on YouTube for future educational purposes. But I must be honest. I think the youth will be disappointed in us because there's an obvious disconnect. And when we talk about trying to engage the youth and bring in the youth, we've got to be engaged with them as individuals before we try to engage them as a collective. One thing I want to share briefly is this web page. So hope everyone can see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure y'all can see. But this is just a brief Google search, looking at most popular social networks for teenagers in the United States, 2012 to 2021. Snapchat, we did not mention Snapchat. No one said Snapchat. TikTok, we got TikTok. Instagram.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so we got a Snapchat.
And TikTok. I mentioned those two right there.
Twitter, Instagram, we got those. Facebook, we said, but we did not say, nobody said Twitter. Nobody said Discord. Nobody said Reddit. Nobody said Pinterest. Nobody said Tumblr. I'm not even sure if these are really that big, but when it comes to the, again, the alignment of media, the things that we're talking about, the things that we're discussing, the things that we're seeing on a daily basis is not necessarily in line with what the youth are seeing or what they are being attracted to. So, when it comes to our promotion and our creation of media and trying to promote that media on different platforms, we have to know the audience that we're trying to attract, and we have to know where to find that audience. So if we continue to promote services that aren't being used, we're wasting our efforts is where I'm trying to go. So we just need to, be better about targeted advertising or promotion. That's my point.
I think that sometimes, with us being older, that we like stuck like it can work this way, it should work this is the way that it should work, and the way that it's working is two different things. You know what I'm saying? You can want it to go a different way, but if that's not the way it's going, you got to go with the flow of things. And even though I know a lot of people don't like Charleston White, he said a lot of stuff I don't like either, but he has a way of, he'll put a message in there with some BS. Now, I'm not saying that we should do what Charleston is doing, but it's got to be a way that we can put something, you know what I'm saying, have our little gimmick or whatever to get the youth to notice us.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be to that extent. But evidently what we doing is not working. So we can say we can put out a newsletter and newspaper. I take, when people hand me that, it go right in the trash. Hand me no, I don't look at that.
But that's exactly my point. There's a disconnect, and I think we have an obligation as the responsible party, I guess that's the best way to put it, to reach out and tap into their media and try to find ways to make it informational and beneficial and not just purely entertainment. But Sister Tania, I hear what you're saying, and Charleston White is probably one of the best examples, but I struggle to find examples of individuals that are successful in what we're trying to do in the way that we're trying to do it. On these platforms. But so we're at the top of 2023. You know, we have to be conscious of what we're putting out, such that when we get to December, you know, we can say that we've put information or put content, that's the word that they use now, in places with high visibility. I think that's a good way of saying it. Any questions, comments?
Race first.
Race first, Dr. Sheriffs.
Yes. I have a friend. He says he's a millionaire. You know, he used to be with the Manhattans. He was on Baltimore Call full time when I was on a Saturday, like last week when I was on Baltimore Call. But what he does something like a petition. He gathers names and phone numbers and different things like that, put it in a notebook, and then when he has time, he calls those numbers back and tell the people, you know, who he is, you know, and what he's doing, what he has to offer, etc. You know, petitions, anything like that might be a good idea. We didn't mention business cards either, because he liked business cards too. A lot of people like business cards, but we didn't mention that. Oh well. Peace, race first.
Race first.
This business card we can have right now is Popping. That's an app, and it you can link your business, your website, your phone number, your social medias, or whatever, your Cashapp. It's like a long list of things that you can link to your Popple, and it gives you a QR code. So when you're in a public space and you're around people, you pull out your phone, they take their phone, QR code, save your information, and that way, instead of taking a business card, sticking it into their back pocket, now they have to look. They're looking at what you have right then and there, you know, as you talking to them, because they got to go and save it. And then also you can airdrop, because that's what I do with mine. When I'm in the public area, I just airdrop my business card to people. I mean, sometimes they accept it, sometimes they decline it. But like, we have to move to where the world is moving. Is moving to online, no paper.
Yeah, I agree. I forgot WhatsApp is also a big, well, I don't know if it's a social media, but it's a communication platform.
Race first.
Race first.
This brother Sean again. Peace to the family. I heard you say there's a gap between the
Disconnect, but yes.
a disconnect. Yeah. Me and my son, he's at the age now, so I've been trying to talk to him. And I said, to me, it makes it feel like I can lose my son. And I had to to my thinking. I need my son to pass some knowledge down to him, whereas that he'll be able to save himself.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I got out of myself and place my thinking at him to be able to reach him. And what I mean by that was that most things is into the drug world and folks weed. So I gave him or giving him, or however you want to say it, knowledge to him about something that he's intrigued with. He's very in tune with the features of Malcolm X. And while he sit there, and God knows I didn't do this in front of my parents, smoke weed. So he was smoking his blunt, and I went against all protocol. I went against everything. And I said, well, you know, I'll suffer the consequences with the law, which is a hell of a thing to say, to try to save my son from the streets and the enemies that lurk out there. So it is working. It is working. And he went back and he talked to his friends. Well, the next thing you know, we sitting outside in front of the carport. They smoke their little weed and they ask me questions. Well, you know, well, what do you think about this right there? I let them do their thing, even though I'm totally against it. I let them do their thing. So now that I reached out to my son, he don't reach out to his friends while they be doing their thing out in the street. But the culture was, when I grew up in Harlem back in the 70s, I mean, it was the same thing. We done seen movies like Coolie High. They round the garbage can in the wintertime passing the wine bottle, but they was harmonizing, they was singing. So we get to a certain age, like Sister Tamir said, and we got all these rules that we got to, like even on this platform, we got these rules that we got to abide by because, you know, young people have so many things like this that we might step on somebody's toes that might be the infiltrated this program certain people somewhere else. So we got these rules that we got to follow by.
Yes.
We the only people got rules that we have to follow by, and that are rules that somebody else made up that we got to follow by, and we are not our people. We don't have rules that we have to follow by. I'm just saying. I'm not speaking against the program because there are other programs that are involved in it. And when I recognize that it'll speak the truth, we'll beat around the bush, or we'll water it down, and we don't go straight to the point. We'll say everything, but actually keep it straight to the point.
Yes.
Can we do this? How can we do this? When we ask the question or we give an answer, we already know what we need to do. So why are we beating around the bush about it?
Usually it's issue. Well, go ahead. I'm
just dumbfounded on all this.
Well,
I'm really dumbfounded. I mean, I don't know, you know, other than we just spinning our wheels. I don't know. I mean, what seems to be the problem? It's not rocket science.
True. It's very simple.
Go ahead.
No, I said you're right. It's very simple. It's not rocket science, but we are beating around the bush because we have yet to get a collective consensus. It's 2023, and what is the collective consensus as of what Black people want in America? Is there a collective consensus? I don't think there is.
Well, it's only going to be the chosen few. That's going to be your collective.
How many is that?
And give you an answer on that.
Have we reached that number?
President John, that's a question can't nobody answer.
Okay. Right. I'm
just saying. That's a question can't nobody answer because, You know, I just come to find out. I'm just using this as an example. You say family.
Yes.
You think that, okay, me, my brothers and sisters, so blood related people.
Yeah.
That's not your family. Your family is the people that think like you. Your family might not even do what you do to help you make it to the mark. Most of the time, your family is the ones that's knocking you down.
Yes, sir. But Brother Sean, I don't want us to dominate the discussion. There were other people on the call.
Race first.
Race first. Any other comments on media, adult media versus youth media? My comments on the disconnect, or any solutions or ideas?
Race first.
Race first, Dr. Shams.
One of the main things that we always have problems with is that whatever we try to do, we're usually doing it by ourselves. Other people, they have like maybe another person or a couple of people with them, and they all working together on a project. But I don't know, for some reason, we just can't get together. You know, we don't go out and do things together like we should. And with the advertisement that we're talking about, the problem with it is that it's probably going to be one person trying to do everything, and that is not going to work. We have to try, you know, to team up or whatever, you know, to get things done. Also, I wanted to say something about that tip of the iceberg, how many members we have. When Honorable Minister Farrakhan, when he called for the Million Man March and Redeem the Dream, he had millions of followers. Millions of people went to Washington, D.C. It was bigger than the so-called insurrection they just had. You know, a lot of our people went there to the event, you know, to see what was going on, speak to legislators and whatnot, you know. But that's only come to show you that by the numbers that was there, we haven't even touched the surface of the people, you know, we can really get from our community to be interested in what we're doing. We just got to find a way to present it to them better in the way that they understand. We got to realize that a lot of our people don't have the best of education either. Some of us know how to read, some of us don't know how to read. But we all, you know, the thing about it is that we all like to be involved in doing something. And when we be involved in doing something, we would like to be beneficial. You know, we like to be grateful that we're able to do it, you know, and are happy and everything. But that's not easily achievable if you're just doing everything as one person. Piece of race for wait a minute. Do you know about search engines, Brother John? Search engines.
Yes.
Okay, that's another thing we could go to. AdMe, I think, has search engine service. AdMe.com, something like that. They have search engines that we could go on and try to build some reputation or some membership from there as well. Piece of race first.
Yes, search engines usually go based off of websites, and you put your website on the search engine so people can find you. Couple things. Let me see. You touched on Minister Farrakhan, but then you touched on something else after that. What did you say after Farrakhan?
Piece of race first. How we did things singly as one person as compared to having help from others.
Yes. Well, okay, I got you. No. All right. So first, in the Farrakhan thing, all respect to Minister Farrakhan, but going back to Brother Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture, he talks about the difference between organization and mobilization. And he would argue that the Million Man March was a mobilization, getting 1 million plus brothers and sisters to come to one specific location as a representation. That was a excellent feat of mobilization, as well as some organization included. But when you look at after that, Minister Farrakhan also had an additional call for 10,000 Fearless. And that was the organization aspect. And that is what, 1% of, well, or is it 10% of a million? But it's a percentage of the million that we're able to mobilize. And we, talking about the remnant, this would have been the remnant of the mobilization, but the 10,000 Fearless never officially got organized. So we're good at mobilizing, but we're still spinning our wheels and continuing to preach to the choir when it comes to organizing. And then the second thing you talked about was our people love to do things and like to do things and be involved and utilize their skills. And that's wonderful. And we love that. And that's great about our people. However, one of the things that we have to, we as Garveyites have to instill in our people is not only a pride in doing things, but a pride in doing things for your own people. I think one of the issues that we have is we're so happy to do things that we don't even care who we're doing it for. Whether it's the United States government, whether it's, the Atlanta Falcons, the Atlanta Hawks, we just want to be doing something for someone. But we have to change that mentality to where we feel more pride in doing something for our own people than we could feel in doing for anybody else. Those are my comments.
There's
Brother Omar, you on the conference line or Zoom?
I'm on the conference.
Okay, go ahead, Brother Omar.
Yeah, peace to the family. A lot of times, brother, we tend to put it this way. I get involved with a lot of things, and a lot of times people don't really know how busy Black folks are.
Mm-hmm.
Black folks are moving mountains. We just don't know it. I'm a member of the 10,000 Fearless. Every weekend, they have a power hour. So people really don't be in touch with people that is involved with these organizations. When they had the Million March, I went to the Million March. The minister, Maritime, asked us to do certain things. One of them was to adopt people. Our family adopted 3 people. So a lot of times people just don't know what we're doing because there's no central place of follow-up. Someone to keep track of what we're making and what we're not making.
Yeah.
There's one thing, I never disregard any particular group. I work with any group because I understand at the end of the day, we are nation. So I don't turn down any support or any help from any of the brothers and sisters. But we have to understand that there is a lot of work going on. I mean, there's so much work going on. Your head would spin if you actually made contact with these people. You have Dr. Boris Watkins, who's been running the conference, the All Black National Convention on its 7th anniversary. Some people ain't never heard of it. So we need to establish a base, like an embassy or somewhere people can actually know what our people are doing. I remember when the All Black National, not the All Black National Convention, but the National African Gun Association. Brother Phil Smith just started it. I talked to him twice, maybe 3 times, in 2015. In 2015, he had just got started. Now, in around 2013, the total was up to 45,000. Now, in 2023, the membership is at 50,000 members in their own national gun association. And you have the the NRA. But we've been having the NRA for all these years as a Black institution, but nobody even mentioned it. So by you being connected to people who actually put in work, you get to see full pictures or whole pictures. my pieces for pictures, not sound bites for clips. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a lot of work going on that we're not aware of, because we got to understand we have an enemy that will not allow to promote us on their institution. And if they're not promoting us on the institution, then the majority of our people is not gonna see us on there. And to show that we having a profound effect as a people is how many people are getting blocked, shadow banned. I mean, it's like I've been banned from Facebook for almost 6 months now. I mean, they see what we're doing, even though we don't see what we're doing, because they pay a close attention to every Black organization when we did pay attention to only one. So they clearly know how much progress we're making. You know, reparations is on the forefront right now. They're going around the country talking about reparations. But see, when you have to be able to have a central location where people can get what is really going on with our people. But our people is moving. At one point, there was where no Black people were carrying firearms. Black people have organized over 160 gun clubs. When before, Black folks didn't even have a gun club. So when you got someone calculating what we're doing and watching our movement, we can see what the progress is being made. Political power taking place now, because that's the next step, to move into a political power. So you can get visibility, and you can't get visibility until you get political. So it's a lot of things. We have to understand that this is a form of warfare. And the one thing about warfare is you never allow the enemy to see how strong they is, or you never see them to see how weak you are. So it's not that things are not happening. Things are moving tremendously from where I'm looking from it. The Black people is like on steroids, because I talk to them, I see them, I see what's going on, I see how the enemy move on them. They moving on them so quick. You know, that we think it's making them loose. They're losing their mind because Black folks is moving so fast. But if we are not in touch, and there's not a central location where we can report to our activity. Now, there's several organizations in terms of when you were talking about the peacekeepers. The peacekeepers is like 30-some chapters. We have people putting in work, because for some reason I just happen to be in the right place at the right time. And I'm probably I'm a member of all the organizations just about. And that's why I get a first here for what's really going on. And if we see it from a spiritual standpoint, we're entering the most critical part of this operation. And why I say this operation, because you see two things happening. You see the momentum of war moving towards World War III. But also, spiritually, it's called a war of Armageddon. And Russia, who's supposed to head the starting of the war of Armageddon. So everything, as a person who is familiar with what's going on in seeing these things before they set together, you can see that, yeah, there's a lot of movement. Our people are just not getting information. And we got to be really careful, too. Because like Brother was saying, Brother Sean, is people didn't know that this was this lady, Joshua, what's her name, Joanne Clinton Brown. This was a lady when Malcolm X and Martin Luther King was talking about reparations. And Martin Luther King had wanted $10 million for reparations. So the lady went on the news channel, on the TV, on the media, and said that she didn't think we should have reparations. Then you find out later that the lady was telling that Martin Luther King for wrong for asking for $10 million for reparations. She come out to be an FBI informant. The one thing we miss is understanding that war tactics and strategies is going on against us would make us remain like we don't really see what's going on. But progress is being made tremendously. And right now, I can almost smell the reparations. They're so close. And that's because I'm seeing whole pictures. You know, you see the movements around the whole world. The whole world is rising up all over the country. You got to remember, when the whole world is rising up, there's also, on the spiritual level, the resurrection of the dead. Meaning that the people are starting to realize that their government have always been a thorn in their side. And they're resisting and fighting against the governments all over the world. And now they have to come for the head of the dragon. And the head of the dragon is right here, which is called the United States of America. So now all the nations of the world is getting ready to mount upon this beast, the beast of Babylon. This is what we deal with. So when we talk about we need to make contact with different organizations, I think that's why the nation is so powerful, because the nation communicates with all organizations. We may communicate with one or two. So when we understand where what we have fallen short, then we can find out where we can make longer strides. Peace to the family.
Thank you, Brother Omar. So we're getting ready to close out this section, but I'll open it one more time. Again, we were talking about goals and schedule for 2023, and specifically asking individuals if they were willing to step up to help us achieve the goals that we're trying to accomplish this year as a collective.
They first.
Peace to the family.
Hold on, brother Omar. Dr. Shams, go ahead.
Yes, I like to know when they're going to get started with the websites. I'm interested in helping us revive the website that we have, because I think that was a great idea. I love the website. I think a lot of other people who's on this line love the website too. And when the website went down, there go the people. The people went away because we didn't have an active website. I'm willing to help build a website for whoever wants one if I can, you know. Peace race first.
Peace first. Thank you, Dr. Shams. We do have an active website. One second. Just for those that are aware, or for everyone's awareness. There is an official UNIA-ACL government website, unia-aclgovernment.com. And this is the website provided by the parent body. So has information on President General, as well as High Executive Council and other divisions. Let me see it. But this is under the office of the Second Assistant President General. So he has been investigating for the past 2 years, updating our website. He is available for questions during High Executive Council and Convention, as well as during our Presidents and Division calls. So for those that would like to be involved in that, Second Assistant President General will be your contact person. Brother Omar, you were going to say something?
Oh yeah, peace, family. What else wanted to say is that one of the things that making organizations, and I can tell you, dealing with it's the coverage, it's the media, it's the and in some ways it's the controversy. And see, controversy creates movement. And the fact that things were done that created so much controversy, you start to get feedback. And I don't think that we or the UNIA really, let me give you an example. Just like if the UNIA was doing campaigns to restore the legacy of is to go after agents and agents and FBI informants that were there to tell not just honorable now. See, we don't respond. You know what I'm saying? We don't respond in a way where we don't get that type of attention because we stay away from anything controversial. But we know the minute we say something controversial, the minute we do something, we get an FBI file, right? Well, I got about 3 or 4. You know how many FBI files? This is what they do. They just do it. It's not from different groups. You know what I'm saying? It's not just one group. I believe in engagement, but you have to really have to push the mission. What I mean by that, I mean, people who prophesy doing that already, we should be looking to restore his name. People that really know the history of that history. I work with young people, and I ask them, and they never heard of it. Somewhere. And sometime in YouTube and Facebook and different things, there's no one actually really addressing various dialogue on a platform. We have it here, but we won't get as many views as YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter.
No.
We won't get that type of visibility.
No.
That means that we would have to expose ourselves. And sometimes we know that expose ourselves like that some responsibility. And it also takes some risk because we're not just pushing the leadership. We're going after all the ones who are killed all the leaders or destroyed all the leaders. You know, it's not just they killing them, they're also destroying them and neutralizing their organization. So if we want to get more visibility, more people, they want people who can engage really the opposition. And we have not done that. We haven't even asked for justice for what they did to Honorable Marcus Garvey. We haven't asked for justice. We haven't asked for what they destroyed. It's another black movement that they destroyed. No one has held until full accountable. And that's a big responsibility. Because if you don't have a you don't believe it, because they will pressure you, you know. So we have to decide how much we're willing to push to challenge this position. And even and open it right now, but even with Malcolm X assassination, when it came out that the government the government Malcolm X and Martin Luther King assassination. Tell me how many people have you heard say anything? Even though they hold in the papers in the game. It is the fear that the people have to overcome. The fear to neutralize me. It stops you from movement because of the fear. It stops your belief for the fear. So we have to determine what price we're willing to pay. And that price has to be made up front because it's always risk. It's always risk. And you have to be willing to take on and be responsible for the ancestors that came before you. And I would not want them to be disappointed that they have sacrificed their lives and even gave their lives to get just another inch on the field. And we are afraid to pick up the ball. It is something we have to deal with within ourselves. Peace to the family.
Thank you, Brother Omar. You said a lot. Let me see. Hold on. I want to share something because I understand what you're saying to an extent. But we have to, first thing I'll say is who's teaching the youth about our leaders, about Garvey, about, Mr. Farrakhan, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Khalid Muhammad, Malcolm X, who is teaching our youth about these people. And again, well, not again, but I would argue that's our responsibility. And then when we go back to the disconnect in media, we have to ask, if we're not on Snapchat, if we're not on TikTok, if we're not on Tumblr and Pinterest and all this other stuff, how are we going to give them this message? How do we expect anything to change? That's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. But in regards to us and our relationship with the government, we are Garveyites, so and Division 421 is probably one of the purest Garveyite divisions in the UNIA. So anything that we do, we try to first go back to the foundation of what Garvey did, what Garvey said. And to my knowledge, Garvey never made I don't know if Garvey, well, I mean, obviously he fought his court case in the United States, but once he was exiled, I'm not sure if he made a big fight as to being exonerated, even though that's still one of the things that we want to do. But when it comes to his legacy is global. It's bigger than the United States. So just because the United States has an unfavorable opinion of Garvey doesn't mean that we can't still honor his legacy through organizing our people globally and doing what he said and establishing a capital on sovereign land in Africa. I think that's what would honor Garvey's legacy. But again, going back to government, because you said something about government and us, controversy, basically. And we have to be careful, us as leaders, we have to understand that it's not just us that we put in a spotlight of the FBI or CIA or whatever government agency. When you take on the role of leader and you say that you are the president, vice president of this group, now everything that you do is tied to that group. So someone that just joined the organization yesterday is now an accomplice to, me because, I decided to do something that the FBI disagreed with. But what Garvey says in his lessons in regards to our relationship with the government, or one of the things he says, whenever an enemy or any person attempts to create prejudice against your organization with the government, so that's creating prejudice specifically, take immediate steps to counteract the statement and reassure the government that you have no intention of doing anything not in keeping with the law. So Garvey commands us to be law-abiding citizens. And why? It follows with the next lines. He says, always watch for this, because the government can easily outlaw your organization and curtail or prevent your activities. Therefore, don't join any movement that the government is not favorably inclined to tolerate. And this lesson was in the lesson on communism. So he's talking about communism. But when we look at, a great example, NFAC, you know what I mean? Big organization, controversial, in the mainstream spotlight, on the front lines. But as soon as the leader, John Fitzgerald Johnson, John F. Johnson, Grandmaster Jay, as soon as he got in trouble, and as soon as he was indicted on federal charges, the entire organization kind of fell apart to an extent. So again, we have to, we as Garveyites, 100 years after the creation of the government, we have to go back to the lessons and adapt them to modern day and try to be successful, but one of the things that, President Ross Marvin told me, he said, the best way to help our political prisoners is to not become one, so one, we have to be law-abiding citizens because Garvey commands it, and two, the government can easily outlaw our organization. That's the difficulty about what we're trying to do specifically in the United States. We're trying to build a nation behind enemy lines, and we know that. and the actions and the behavior and the characteristics in doing that are not the same as open warfare. You know, there has to be some subtlety, there has to be some diplomacy, and there has to be a level of education and institution. So that's why I go back to, you know, when we look at what our youth know, it's 2023 now. You know, we have to, one, ask ourselves, when did we come into this information? How long have we had this information, and what institutions have we brought into existence to pass this information to the next generation? And that's where we, as Garveyites in Division 421, that's where we try to focus.
Peace to the family.
Peace, Brother Omar.
Okay, Brother John. I know that's what it looked like on the TV. We knew Grandmaster Jay was doing the day. We know he was. We knew in the organization, the numbers are growing tremendously. But on the media, they were making it seem like the organization is through. This is not through. It's so far from through. People have no idea. When you have a military structure, it do not collapse. Organizations that don't have a military structure collapse. Let's look at the Nation of Islam with its military structure. In fact, Melissa had a military structure. Black Panther Party had a military structure. We have to make it weekend first we're going to be attacked, but first we need it. Well, we were raising $1 million to go to the Supreme Court. First we have to go to the Supreme Court. Because we knew we were going to be arrested. You can look at Revelation 2 and 10, where it says the devil will so center you in prison. We knew it. See, so we have to be true with ourselves and what this work that we when we see it. See, I see it from the biblical standpoint, and I see it in terms of constancy, and I see it in terms of they're never going to stop. Their job is to destroy the black man and woman, whether they're innocent or not. So when you have those sources, you have to do it right. So no, we only almost $1 million, half $500,000 for days defense. So we know that because people don't really trust these organizations, don't really see them. So they don't know. I say everybody, so I already know it. And I know that the news, I see them. They lie, and we can understand propaganda warfare. So we believe stuff that they tell us. They try to deal. We have to understand that there's a lot of women. And tell me what black leaders they have not run after. Follow. And try to kill or destroy. You didn't intend to stop, not by a long shot. So what are your options? Surrender, complete surrender, and can't surrender. Because not only when you surrender for yourself, you can surrender for your family and your children when you surrender. So when we say that we have to educate the youth, I educate my grandson. They all had a burden. One had a burden of enlightenment. One had a burden of enlightenment. One had a burden of organization. And these leaders, that each one of them had to learn the ages of 3 years old to 10 years. So those are things that we do to make our leaders like the enemy makes all their leaders. They put their monuments. We don't even like educate our personal kids in our households about it. That's what a lot of us do. So they all have somebody to learn. One of the boys has to learn everything about mathematics. One has to learn everything about one has to learn everything about one has to learn everything about the FY. You give them things so they can understand that they have a home black brotherhood. They have a sacrifice for them. And these men sacrifice for them to get to this point. And we don't do this. It's collective. And we can say that we can work in the compliance of the law to a person who has never worked within the confines of the law, which is the government.
Yes, sir. I understand. I understand. All right, it's 20 after. We still need to go through member share. I did want to run through this article on Ron DeSantis. But any closing comments on tonight's topic of schedule, goals 2023 and media? Okay. But again, as those that are on Zoom can see, we will continue our officers training course of African philosophy, January 24th, this coming Tuesday. But as Garvey says in this text, you know, we mentioned, you know, when we talked about media, we mentioned the educational system, and we know that, you know, again, we're behind enemy lines. Our children, us, we all have to go through that educational system. 98% of us have to go through that educational system. Garvey says, if we don't provide an educational system, an institution that counteracts the education that we get from our oppressors, then by default, we consider their institutions to be superior to ours. So that was my question. And again, this call was about a call to action, you know, not just what we should do, but how individuals can help us achieve those goals. So any questions, comments in closing before we go to the article and member share? Okay. All right, try to make this brief. Thank you everyone for being patient. As Brother Sean alluded, let's see, where is it at? I got this article from The Guardian. I mean, there's several sources out there that have that talk about this article or talk about what's going on. So for those that are familiar, Ron DeSantis, or those that aren't familiar, Ron DeSantis is the governor for Florida. I forgot how long he's been in that position, a couple years, 2 to 4 years. He's been in that position. I don't think he's had to defend his seat yet, but Ron DeSantis, Florida's governor, has rejected a new advanced placement course in African-American studies from being taught on high school campuses. He argues that the course violates the state law and quote unquote lacks educational value. This is the latest move in a series of actions to keep conversations and lessons about race, sexuality, and gender identity off the state school campuses. DeSantis officially banned the course in a letter from the state education department to the college board. So this is a college prep course. The organization that administers college readiness exams like the Scholastic Aptitude Test, SAT, they also oversee advanced placement AP courses, which allow students to earn college credits in subjects like English and chemistry. So in essence, Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, has banned a particular advanced placement African studies course that would help individuals interested in African studies on the college level. But this is just a follow-up of critical race theory and basically the change in curriculums to remove things that deal with race. And hold on, he has some interesting quotes in here as far as why the people didn't like it, and I wanted to try to find that. Let me see the process. But it had to do with didn't want. Let me find the word guilt. It has to do with the word guilt. Here, it's not here. Okay, well, I can't find it on this article. But yeah, so
Hey, Brother
Brother Omar, go ahead.
Yeah. See, the thing was that they don't want to teach the black history or make white kids feel guilty.
Right.
So what they try to do is hide the history of their brutality and the race was so wicked and so brutal So they didn't want to affect the facts or emotions of the kids, but they didn't have a problem with it.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So we've learned for years, slavery and our position and being, coming from Africa and chattel slavery, being whipped, all that stuff. We had to go through all of that for years and years and years. Nobody ever asked any questions. But now they start talking about an advanced placement African-American studies course that could make whites feel guilty about their role in American history. There's a problem. So again, Garvey teaches us, from day one, foundational 101, aim and objective number 9 states that, basically we must build our own institutions, specifically for our racial uplift. So, I don't have anything to add or any suggestions or solutions other than what Garvey said over 100 years ago. But this is where we are. And I just want to open the floor for any questions, comments.
Peace to the family.
Brother Omar.
Yeah. Well, as we know, as I said, I study all our Black history. And if we know the Nation of Islam, they went to jail. When they opened up the University of Islam, the white men used the same doors, and they locked them up, locked some of the teachers. But fast forward 2023, the University of Islam still stands. But there has to be a price to pay to get that freedom. Open up to keep that university existing. And it's been open ever since. And we have to understand that this is, even though we will see it like war, it is war. It's what the Russians call the United States for war. Meaning that they're at war with you, we just ain't openly declaring it.
Thank you, Brother Omar. Anybody else want to comment on the article?
Kwame Benter here.
Go ahead, Brother Benton, Brother Kwame.
One thing I could think that would be a good strategy maybe would be if we have members in the state of Florida for them to contact their representatives and put pressure on them to stand up, and let the governor know how we feel about that particular banning of our history from the curriculum of the school system.
Yes, sir.
Since we should, according to the teachings, should have some kind of influence or connection to the politicians, that represent us in our areas.
Yes.
Race first.
Race first.
Yes, Brother John, I want to thank you for answering the question about what's going on today and how are we are to resolve the issues that are occurring today.
Yes.
And you're going back to the lessons already taught 100 years ago on what we should do. And that is exactly how we should address the confrontations, what's occurring, still occurring today here. And yeah, that's where you go to get the answers. And yeah, with regards to this article, he's saying it violates the state law against the teachings of the critical race theory. So, and as you said, Garvey said we must, build our own institutions, and that's the answer. Okay, race first.
Race first. Thank you, Attorney Imhotep.
Race first.
Race first, Brother Sean.
that Mr. DeSanto said what he said is out in the public. The reason why I'm glad he said what he said, because if you are an idiot, don't see this is a form of racism, then it's wrong. Because it's wrong. You understand? So brothers and sisters that's on this call in the Lord, they know what's going on. They don't be brains. Everybody keeps yelling about the 1619 stuff. You was brought over here as made slaves. They brought the best of knowledge. That's why they're not even concerned about the white kids. They use that as a scapegoat. You will know who you are and who you came from. Who Pastor said in a lot of his speeches I see on social media, he said that the little black kid was coming up with all these bright ideas. This is why they had integration in school. But they said that Dr. Martin Luther King, not taking nothing from it, wanted to integrate with these. When we integrated with them, we became dumb. Mr. Farrakhan said we built pyramids. Now we can't even make a school more fall.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny when you think about it, but it's sad. It's degrading. You can't even make a school more fall. And you're still looking to these people for some type of, hey, I'm not militant. What's wrong with me? I mean, seriously. You open up that school, it sounds good. What is he teaching in that school?
Mm-hmm.
Schools that are not of us, for us, is killing fields of the mind.
Yes, sir.
The 10 Commandments say, thou shalt not kill. Everybody thinks that to my thou shalt not kill means kill the body. If you kill a person's mind, they can dead nowhere. If you kill a body, it's dead. When you kill a person's mind, you cannot rise to the thinking consciousness of a God. You can't do it. You will always forever be weak. Your spring will be weak, and et cetera, et cetera. Face first.
Thanks first. Thank you, Brother Sean. Any other comments on this article?
Yeah, peace to the family.
Brother Omar?
Yes. There's one thing the ancestors gave us. They gave us their example. They gave us their history. And I look at it and say, what did the ancestor do? What did the ancestor do? What did this ancestor do? And all the answers we have, all of the answers. There's no answer that we don't have an answer for. We don't already see demonstration. The case I'm telling with the Panther Party. Once they started the breakfast program, then they started an educational program. What happened? The government started bombing their schools. So they know they had war with us. We didn't go bomb their schools, but they were teaching real white kids racism. We were teaching young black kids the Panther Party of the knowledge of themselves, and their history, their culture. And the enemy didn't like that. They want you to assimilate. They want you to learn their language, talk like them, dress like them, think like them. They want you to assimilate, and that is a destruction in itself. So they don't want no free thinkers. They don't want you to not thinking out of the realm of white supremacy. And we have so many leaders now, or so-called leaders, who are manifesting themselves as black white supremacists because they are helping with the white supremacist agenda just by being anti-black. But we have to understand that this is a bigger picture than what we're looking at. And if those kids can learn from the Panther Party and have schools and educate who the Panther Party will, then we'll be growing better fruit. We're not growing better fruit because we're not teaching. Teach for the family.
Thank you, Brother Omar. Anybody else comments on the article?
First, this Brother Charles, I just want to give everybody an example of how creative we are. You know, with Timberland had the work boots. Everybody would go buy Timberlands or programs or whatever, and they would go to. And then the hip hop brothers and sisters got it and started wearing it at the, you know, here. Numbers got up in stage.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the bandana, the red. That was a mechanic's rag. The white grease off his head. So what did the culture do? What did they do? That somebody had his rag and we glorified it. And they made millions on it. Everything was put it over. Red and the blue. So this is how creative we is. This is why most Asian people don't get rap. Because the message was given in the rap. And we spiritually, we heard the beat of the drum. And we leaned towards it. Needless to say, in California, this is when they created NWA. Call all the sisters, bitches, and hoes, the brothers. I got that. And this is how creative we is. It's in our DNA. So if they are concerned about little white kids feeling inferior, let's feel inferior. You think when you're being don't get the concept. When somebody, you might not have no teeth. So we talking among ourselves, even though we understand even in every organization there is listening. So how long are we going to tiptoe around the message instead of walking through the message and sucking it up and let's get on with the thing? The minister won't be here much longer.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Omar, we won't be here much longer.
Mm-hmm.
Is we gonna still, 20 years from now, our great grandkids, what we gonna do? How we gonna do it? Race first.
Race first. Anyone else?
Race first.
Race first, Dr. Shams.
Yes, our history should mean just as much to us as it means for anybody else. I noticed they haven't mentioned the Holocaust or the Jews or banning that. They just want to ban our particular history. And if they're not teaching it in society, when those children go up without knowing where they came from or who or what, and they treated a certain way, they will retaliate worse because they don't have no reference point as to how their ancestors, overcame or dealt with the same way. They wouldn't know. And that's going to give Caucasian leeway to finish wiping. I say that taking away a history of a people with the first step toward genocide. Marcus Mosiah Garvey, he said that a nation without a history is like a tree without roots. Reverend Sharpton made it more clear this morning when I was on WBLS commenting to him, and he said that's a dead tree. So therefore, you know, we should form some type of rallying or marching or something to get them to keep our history in place and lay off our backs. Because they're only trying to do it to find a easier way to genocide us by incarceration. Peace and race first.
Race first. Thank you, Dr. Sam.
Peace for the family.
Brother Omar?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, brother. We have to understand too, like I said, when we look at our leaders, right? Now, when Malcolm X was saying the battle of the bullet, and then he started to how we need to arm ourselves. Don't you know Malcolm X would be so proud today? He would have been proud to see the Panther brothers. He would have been proud to see the militia. He would have been proud to give 160 black gunslippers. We would have been proud to see the National African American Gun Association. But when we said, did we teach the kids anything? Apparently we did. Nobody knows that. Peace to the family.
Thank you, Brother Omar. All right, 7:42. We're going to jump over to member share quickly. President Ross Marvin, were you going to say something? I saw you came off mute for a second. Okay, went back on mute. All right.
No, President John, I was just listening in.
Okay. Thank you, President Ross. All right, we're going to jump over to member share. As we go into member share, I mean, obviously it's member share, open discussion, but I don't know if y'all have, I'm not sure, but like I said, we're recording this meeting. We've recorded several meetings in the past. One of the things that goes through my mind when I rewatch the meetings is what are the youth thinking about what we're saying and what we're doing? And for this call, we've been on this call for what, 2 hours and 40 minutes. And we've discussed several problems. But when it comes to us taking responsibility and taking ownership for a solution, we're kind of lackluster, you know, and when it comes to stepping up and carrying on the ideals and the practice of organization, I don't feel that the youth are getting that from these discussions. So it's 2023. We've been on these calls now for several years, most of us. I don't want this to continue to just be a discussion of these are the problems that we have, and these are the solutions as well. But I want it to be, these are the solutions that we are implementing from a race first national organization standpoint. You know, there are a lot of things being done and a lot of good things being done in different places, but we as Garveyites should be promoting national and international organization, and that comes with meetings. So, you know, if we're not having meetings on a national scale, if we're not having meetings on a executive scale, we're not really promoting organization. Those are just my thoughts. But let me open up the floor for member share. First member I'll bring in is President Ross Marvin. See, UNIA member number 2. Greetings, President Ross Marvin.
Greetings. Just listening in and thing, and the only thing I wanted to add was definitely we got to big up the website with Baba James,
Yes.
because that's another media outlet. That's all I have to say. Race first.
Thank you, President Ross. I will open that up now. While I got you here, President Ross, what do you think about goals, schedule, things that we can accomplish, focus on, do differently this year, in your opinion?
Well, I'm with you with what you said earlier in the call, President John. Right now, we should focus on bigging up the HEC,
Yes,
to
sir.
making that very successful, and promoting it in the city of Atlanta. We can definitely invite brothers and sisters in Atlanta to attend and do some recruiting. I know they can't attend the business session, but I think there's supposed to be some sessions afterwards, after the business session, some meetings and things.
Yes. We actually, I want to do I think we could do a membership drive in West End Park on Friday, but the days are actually Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But we need to get together as an executive office and really focus on that, plan for that, and make sure we, execute well, everything's paid for. But
Sure. It's going to be at the Manala.
yes, sir. So I've got the draft flyer on the screen right now. Secretary General will release the final copy sometime soon, but yeah, Omanala Griot, April 13th, 14th, 15th, 2022 here in Atlanta.
And is the parent body covering that cost?
No.
They should, any during the time of PG Senghor, the parent body always covered any national or international events that happened in Atlanta. That's not a local cost. That's a cost that the parent body should pay for, not us locally.
Okay. Do you know if that's in the Constitution or if that's just something that's practice?
That I know it's practice. I don't remember it being in the Constitution, but the local division, like for instance, you might want to double check with Detroit division, who hosted the convention last year.
Yeah.
And see if they had to pay for the facilities that the event was at, or did the parent body pay for it?
Okay. I will follow up on that.
Yeah, that definitely is not a local cost. That's a national cost, not national budget.
But yes, as I was saying, we've been doing this for a few years now. We should be hosting meetings like this. This is the High Executive Council of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League. All divisions of the UNIA-ACL will be represented here in Atlanta. So this is not just an Atlanta thing. We'll have New York, Chicago, DC, Philadelphia, Curacao, Los Angeles, but we've got to get to this level on a consistent basis, and not just here in Atlanta, but everywhere we are. We should be building divisions and hosting gatherings like this. All right. Make sure I was sharing. Was I sharing? Yes, I was. All right. Thank you, President Ross. Next, brother, I want to jump over to Attorney Imhotep. Greetings, Attorney Imhotep.
Greetings, Africans. I don't have anything to share, Brother President John. I'm glad you put up the newsletter there of the dates and place for the HEC meeting. And that was going to be one of my questions, and you answered it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Race first.
Race first. Thank you, Attorney Imhotep. And for everyone on the call, this is the beginning of the year, top of the year. This is the best time when it is recommended to pay yearly dues. Attorney Imhotep, I know you pay automatic, so you're taken care of. President Ross, I know you're good. But for those that are not or not sure, please make a contribution, either Cashapp, $UNIA421 fund, or paypal.me/UNIA421. But everyone on the call, yearly dues is $46. So if we can knock that out at the top of the year, that helps us out throughout the year. So I want to share that really quick. And with that, we'll jump over to our next member. UNIA member 172, Dr. Shams. Greetings, Dr. Shams.
Yes, greetings, race first. Yes, I just wanted to say something about the conventions. Now, the conventions is one of the elements that Reverend Al Sharpton uses in addition to his radio and TV program that he has, as far as keeping people together, and as far as combating the struggle that we face, because we're not in this alone. There are other organizations who work similarly to what we're trying to achieve, and they have gained milestones, But other than that, I wanted to say that the history of a people is the strength of a people, because it is history that tells you the reason why we have to have unity, And with that, I wanted to say that I have various topics on my website. I hope people go there and use it a little bit every now and then or whatever, and that is not helpful. USA legislations people.bravesites.com. 2 plurals in it, legislations and brave sites. That's not helpful. USA legislations people.bravesites.com. And my email is shams77saves@gmail.com. My phone number and the rest of it is in the chat. Just go to the chat and scroll up to the top. You'll see the full information there, hopefully. Peace and race first.
Race first. Thank you, Dr. Shams. We'll keep it moving. 7:52. Maybe I'll get out of here a little after 8. Next, brother, I want to bring in UNIA member 449 in Annandale, Virginia, Brother Art. Greetings, Brother Art.
Greetings, President John. Greetings, family. I don't have nothing to share. I'm just learning, listening and learning.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for being here, Brother Art. We definitely appreciate your presence, and we'll look forward to you joining us at an executive meeting in February.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Thank you. All right, let me finish off the Zoom, and then we'll jump over to conference call. Last brother we got on the Zoom is Brother Kwame. Greetings, Brother Kwame. Did you have anything you wanted to share with the family?
Praise first, President John. No, not at this moment. Just observing, listening, and learning.
Well, thank you for being here with us, my brother. We definitely appreciate your presence. All right, that is all of the brothers on the Zoom, and we've got a couple brothers on the conference line. Let me just, I'm pretty sure we don't have no sisters. We don't have any sisters on the conference line, do we? I didn't check. All right. So first, brother, we'll bring in UNIA member, I believe 424, Brother Sean. 442.
Greetings to the family there. I was supposed to say that when you talk about the youth, how can we reach the youth? I mean, on a national level, we're too crucial. I'm concerned about who listening or who's told to be set on. You have to tell the youth the truth. If you ask youth the question, the response that I have, even with my son and his friends, is that our generation laid down. Well, what do you mean by laid down? Because y'all wasn't willing to die. If you love us so much, why didn't you give your life?
Okay.
When you give your life, if you love her so much, then you want to give your life.
Hmm.
You to speak truth. I mean, it's right. I mean, there's no way. He's saying over and over. Every time we come to the program that I'm able to share my thoughts, you go between when in the 1920s, I just think pictures and film. First it was, like Brother Omar said, military.
Mm-hmm.
Means in the physical, means educational wise. This is the thing that we're discussing.
Yes, sir.
So you have to be willing to give your life for those that are coming behind you, clear the path. This is what you have to do. And we are not looking. The question. I'm saying you, President John, you, how they feel.
Yes.
Get one. Get your son friends, get your daughter friends. Ask them how they feel. Just in general, say, speak freely. Give my son that platform. Speak freely. Don't worry about it. I'm not your dad right now. I'm just somebody who wants to know how you feel. Because I love you. And that's when you're going to get the truth how they feel. They're going to spill their guts. They might cuss. They might do anything. But they're going to spill their guts. So you get it. Sit there in the back of his brain or her brain. They sit there thinking, you think you love me. You really don't love me. But you ain't willing to. If they see what's going on, if we are parents, how the hell we can't see what's going on?
Yes.
Race first.
Race first. One thing on that, but well, it just came to my mind. Why couldn't it? You know, when they say, "Why aren't you willing to die?" Why can't the question be, why ain't I willing to live? You know, if we die, if the parents die, who's going to teach the next generation?
Well, you got to understand, President John, is that what they mean by not willing to, you're not willing to, meaning that you willing to stand up for truth. You watered it down. You found another way to tell it to us.
Okay.
It's not sufficient enough for us to live.
Okay.
In other words, consider you like a doctor. A doctor don't never tell you we gonna cure the problem. He said we gonna treat it.
Yeah.
That's what we've been doing. We've been treating it, but we ain't been cured it. So that's why the problem keeps arising.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I got you. Thank you, Brother Sean. We 7:58. Want to try to jump over to our last brother, CBPM member 2,714, East Cleveland, Ohio, Brother Omar Mukhtar. Greeting, Brother Omar.
Greetings, family. Peace for the family. And always prepare for the time of peace, prepare for peace in the time of war. Peace, family. We are at war. So this is our war briefing. If we know right now in Atlanta, there's military building is over the city.
Mm-hmm.
The people in Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
Now the young people are in the room because these things are going on. And the thing is, $90 million. You know who it's for. When you know what it's for. So the youth and the protesters, when decided to neutralize it, decided to get big. So sometimes we have to be standing right in the face. It's just what we want to do. Unfortunately, the people have to continue to lose their lives. And we have to understand that we are not in a country. We're in a corporation. And this corporation will do anything to keep itself going. It do not care about keeping in line with the law. Whatever the Constitution, as long as the corporate beast maintains its power, is willing to do anything to keep it going. So we have to understand here still the war. So we want to talk about trade. My brother Grandmaster Jay, the militia group. These groups are all done, but we are still recruiting at an enormous pace. The enemy is not going to come and put it on Channel 19, Channel 3, Channel 5, they land news. They're not going to tell you. They have always, you got to remember, we fight against a wide beast and serpent. We're not going to do anything to aid you in anything about showing Black rights and into power. We have to understand our blood has been moved. It's in a facility now. And we are, he's filed his paperwork and acquitted. And we have to fight all the way to the Supreme Court. Because we're not fighting for just the militia or Grandmaster Jay. We're fighting against the COINTEL operations that have been operating ever since the 1930s. This is not about Grandmaster Jay. This is about the Black movement in the earth. And we have to understand that if they continue to see that we will not support each other, even though they can get all these wicked white people, Brand, Olin, that's how we have to work on. And let's not forget our other it's coming up. And this brother is facing a death penalty. And we know how the enemy do. Do the enemy really do justice? Yeah, do they really? We gotta wait till he get right. Another 400 years? No, we ain't gonna do it. We have to understand that this is a continuation for our fathers fighting against the fathers of the devil. Our sons are going to be fighting their sons. And so one of us, meaning that we take our right position and power and position. Another thing we want to talk about in East Cleveland, we continue to fight in East Cleveland. We have continuing a FBI hotline. That's for people, the residents, to call in to report on any dirty. And of course, we can just give it directly to them. Yeah, without us having a copy. We know they go so upset. We have to make sure that when we report them, any dirty cops in our city, we're coming for you. And so we clean East Cleveland up. We're coming for you. We missed the mayor this time. We got a councilman out. We were dirty. We got rid of him. The mayor, he barely stood. We'll be coming for you next time. We're not going to stop until we clean house, until we drain the swamp. Because we cannot build this our little Mecca, this our little Africa, that is our separate Oklahoma. That's Wall Street. That is the city. It's a 98% black city. And they still wanting to have white folks control of them. So we have to get familiar and prepared for nation building. We can't continue to just continue to be and we enjoy that position. We have to continue. So let's not forget Chasing Justice, LLC.com. Go to ChasingJustice.com. We are pulling all the police workers, all the personnel count. Some of us don't even know we can pull the police count. If someone was in your neighborhood and you wanted to know what they're doing and what the character was, you can pull this out. Because eventually, the head is going to raise up. We have to understand we have to be focused instead of reactive. And also, we have to consider what our brother, the Luther Vaz, and we going up to Kentucky, and now they got two of our brothers in Kentucky. IG and Grandmaster Jay. So this is not a game for them. They know we the ones tiptoeing through the tulips. They're not tiptoeing. They going hardcore. So they don't pay any leader that raises his head and the protester that raises his head. We gotta pay attention. And now what they're doing now in this Atlanta thing is they trying to charge people who come in as protesters, as domestic terrorists. Now you tell me this ain't war. The same charge, the one gonna be labeled as a regular charge and the other gonna be labeled as a domestic terrorist, and we ain't at war? We at war. We don't want to keep it. You know, but we're forced to feel what you think is not. We have to be mindful of that. Be careful of it. And also, they just passed the ACF just saying a new policy on what they keep from gun base. I don't know whether people know what they're going to do. Yeah. Another one it was legal. But then they the younger men were looking these places and different things. They decided to rewrite the law. That sounds like they're using the law as a weapon against the black nation. What it was good yesterday, not as bad today, because it seems like it's popular among black men instead of white men. Yeah, this is war. So, and if you're not paying attention, we will get caught up. So we have to pay attention. Somebody has to pay attention, and someone has to put it out there, you know. And we want to never forget about our political prisoners. Continue to fight for our political prisoners. We continue to organize to head to the Supreme Court, to fight against foreign terror, and hopefully, this generation or the next generation, we can bring foreign terror forward and charge them for the murder of leaders. And then prison them. And we sit there and we watch them, listen, and claim stuff. It's always said, prepare for peace in a time of war, prepare for war in a time of peace. And let's not forget the new Black Panther clothing.com, where we can get all our gear, our boots, the wedding, none of the sickness. There's no sickness on it. And also you can get the BDUs, the boots. That's business. Buy from your brother. Buy black. Peace to the family.
Peace to the family. Thank you. Brother Omar, race first. Was there anyone that did not get a chance to share? 8 minutes after 8. Is there anyone that did not get a chance to share? All right. I don't have anything in closing. Let me see. Yeah, I do have one small, we're talking about media and promotions and stuff. If everyone could, anyone that uses YouTube, please visit our YouTube page, UNIA-ACL Division 421 Atlanta. We have pretty much all of our meetings, study groups, some of our executive meetings, at least from summertime last year. Some of them go back to 2021, but support our YouTube, promote our YouTube. This is our media. It's not basketball, sports. It's not, gossip and reality TV. This is nation building, Black government. Where else can you go to see how Black government functions? So please, support us, promote it, and that's all I've got. And with that, we will close out with the motto. If you would, please come off mute, repeat after me. One God.
One God.
One aim.
One aim.
One destiny.
One destiny.
Africa.
Africa.
For the Africans,
for the
The
Africans,
Africans,
those at home,
those at home,
home,
and those abroad.
and those abroad.
abroad.
United we stand, divided we fall. Let's keep our history together so we be strong.
Yes, sir. Race first.
Race
One
first.
piece, family.
First, all right.